I read the Bible first. That's 66 books. So
Let me ask you a question. What's the first thing that shaped the way you think? What are the first books that you took in? The first videos, the learning from the people around you that helped shaped you? Well, for Katt Williams, it was the Bible. Let's take a listen.
I'm actively trying to eat information. Like, do you have a favorite book? No.
The Bible
No,
for
no,
me.
no. Like, even when I said how many books I read, like, people are thinking maybe I'm reading 900 page. No, no, no. I'm reading 150, 200 page books. And I'm reading as many of them as I can because I'm trying to earn these pizza parties and these other weekly reader things that exist. My parents don't even celebrate holidays. I got to get my own gifts, bitch. I'm finna read myself into
a T-shirt and a personal
mansion.
pan pizza.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So,
I'm wondering if he was Jehovah Witness. I know that they don't celebrate um, any holidays. There's some Christian sets as well. You know, when man get involved, he'll start adding stuff or reinterpreting or interpreting for God a lot of times, and you get these traps, and then it gets cult like. And if you don't follow, then you're not part of the clique, and if you're not part of the clique, then you're ostracized, and if your family's inside of the clique and you're on the outside of it, all bad. Um, and even good Christians can get like that sometimes, and that wasn't the point of this whole conversation. But sometimes the conversation just needs to be had, right? So yeah, just if you're a Christian and that's the mind state, um, Jesus said to come to the Lord like a child, and to have that understanding, like just to be born again. There's a very simplistic understanding. Now we're arguing about, how we understand the Trinity and these things that Jesus never spoke of, but just said, and spoke of mysteriously, of you trying to understand something that does not exist on earth, but exists only can be attributed to God and nobody and nothing else. I think that that's okay for you to have a childlike understanding of that instead of a dogmatic understanding that ostracizes and separates. Now, there are understandings that can get dangerous with that, and we're not getting into that discussion. But it it is a dang shame. I've seen a lot of people break up over just kind of the misunderstanding in that. So the first thing that shaped the way you think for Katt, like I said, it was the Bible, and the tie-ins. This his delight, Psalm 1:2, one of my favorite verses. Psalms 1, my favorite chapter. I guess I said my favorite verse or verses, but his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law does he meditate day and night. Folks, y'all don't need to meditate for Buddha or think of an imaginary uh, idea. All you got to do is have your delight in the law of the Lord, and in his law he does meditate day and night. You can meditate on the Lord, meditate on your relationship, align your visions with each other. God's vision, your vision's off, you throw that vision away, you align yourself with God's vision. Get lined up. Meditating day and night on something helps keep it fresh in your mind while you're going through the spiritual warfare that you're going through. So Katt shared that the Bible, the whole 66 books, was the first thing he ever read. And that foundation, I'm pretty sure it shaped how he saw everything else. The Psalms, the prayers, the raw emotion. It taught him how to learn, how to see the world different. When your truth is your foundation, everything else makes sense.
So I got those books, and then I got the ones I'm trying to learn from.
Yeah.
And those are separate. But what was your question?
Do you have a first book that you remember reading, like, or one that got read to you when you were a kid, or something that you really liked, like a book that set it off for you that was like, oh,
I read the Bible first. That's 66 books. So yeah, it kind of was my starting point in book reading, but it's not set up like a book technically. It's very disjointed, right?
oh yeah,
So I found that everything else I read was an easy read. You know what I mean? Like I loved reading all of the classics because I felt like I was literally in this story. You know what I mean? And I could read multiple books at once, and I was completely enthralled with reading.
oh yeah.
What's been shaping your lens? Truth or noise? Now Katt here he's where he's at in his life, but he has the foundation and the seeds along his walk on his spiritual journey. Hey, prayers to Katt. I just hope he continues to grow in his relationship, assumingly with Christ. I believe that, based on what I've seen, that's something that he leans towards. I don't get into anybody's salvation or their spiritual walk, so you won't get that from me. But I do take nuggets because you can learn from a baby, you can grab knowledge from a baby. You can grab knowledge from all these situations. So if you're on here and you're like, I don't like this situation because you have this person, look, man, you could probably find somebody speaking some truth here and there, or you can learn from a situation and you can react to a situation. You don't just have to react to sterile Christian content. You can react to the world around you that you actually live in, that you have to go out and participate in day and night. So if you're going to be a Christian and you're only good around the sterility of it all, you're going to fall apart in the real world. And here is some real world people trying to figure out that messiness of that relationship with God. And maybe he would say, not so, that he has this great, but this and that. Okay. So I'm just letting you guys know that's what we do here, is that we look at everything. We look at all types of content. And I think this content about the Bible being one of your first books, how would you have grown up, do you think, if your parents would have made sure the Bible was your first book? And that's in addition to them reading that, what if they acted out the way that they're supposed to treat you, and not just the discipline parts, but the love parts, right? How much better would you have been, or have you tasted that, and has that benefited you later in life, and how so? Well, let us know down below in the comments. GFC family, stay blessed.